Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And today I have the absolute pleasure of chatting with this lovely lady right over here, Arden of Eden. You've probably seen her on that pretty damn good show, The Transatlantic, that she does with Katie Montgomery. And also recently was on an episode of The Non-Profits. Yay! And was supposed to be on one with me, I think, at one time, but something got screwed up. Thanks, Dillahunty.
All his fault. Definitely blame him.
It's all Matt's fault. But anyways, first of all, Arden, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Time coming.
I'm so excited. I'm super excited.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, that's good. Well, I mean, I already posted out there that I was pretty excited. I got to be talking to you today. Basically, what I do here is I talk to people about their journeys away from whatever belief systems they were once a part of. The ups, the downs, how it all happened, when you first realized that it was all bullshit and all those dominoes started falling, that kind of spiel. So kind of why don't you take us back to when you were involved in something like that and how exactly you found your way out?
Oh, gosh, going all the way back. Yeah.
As far as you're comfortable with, let's put it that way.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've got no secrets. I'm on the internet. So, excuse me. Ugh, God. I first got into, I remember my first experiences with religion were my parents, we went to this one church. It was a Church of God denomination, but they practiced more like Pentecostals. They were very charismatic. So that was kind of an interesting, I don't know exactly how to categorize them, I guess. But nice, Frog Squad, love that, represent. But then my parents weren't super devout followers or anything. I think it was mostly we had limited churches available. I grew up in rural Vermont, so there was more people in my college than there were in my hometown growing up. One thing my parents decided to do was they wanted to send me to a private school, assuming that it was just going to have mostly a stronger academic kind of background. And they were, I think, unaware that they knew it was a religious school, but I think they were unaware of how intense this religious school was. They were very, very fundamentalist there.
Right.
So right from my roots, 5 or 6, whatever age people start kindergarten at, they were trying to slather on the indoctrination nice and heavy.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat here.
I see that.
By the way, we're airing here on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch.
Ooh, right on. Awesome.
Yeah. So we're all over the place now.
Good.
You're my very first episode that's going on Twitch today, by the way.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. That makes me excited. Twitch is a cool community.
Yes. Speaking of Twitch, by the way, guys, Arden's link for Twitch is down below, as well as a whole bunch more.
Definitely.
So you can stalk her everywhere.
Definitely do. I'm very interactive on my Twitch. I've still got only a couple people who regularly come around, so I chat a lot with them.
Awesome.
So religious school. I don't even know where to begin with that. It was just very, like I said, fundamentalist. We were very much about the inerrancy of the Bible and everything in it is 100% true. We started every single day with a chapel or whatever you'd want to call it, where we go and sing about how awesome God is. And we would do on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, we would have a special sermon with a guest speaker. We had Bible class every day where we had to memorize Bible verses and stuff. So
fun.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I mean, I don't think I have a encyclopedic knowledge of the Bible, but I definitely remember quite a lot from that time. It's been useful as I've gotten into the atheist community that I can be wait, that doesn't sound right, or they're deep in the recesses of my brain. Something is remembering what's going wrong with whatever people are saying. Yeah. So that was interesting. It kind of got a little confusing into like as I started to grow up, because I would like my parents had split up by the time I was like 3 or 4.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and my dad was like not really religious at all. He's very still like carried the values of like fundamentalism and conservatism and like all that kind of stuff, but he wasn't religious.
Right.
Then my mom was like, or sorry, go ahead. Ask.
Was he a churchgoer at least, or?
When my stepmom came into the picture, he finally kind of started to go like once or twice a year, but he's definitely not like I wouldn't call him a churchgoer by any stretch.
Okay. You're going to say something about your mom next, I think.
Yeah. I was going to say that my mom, even though the church that we went to was very like fundamentalist, she, for some reason, was very liberal as a person, very like open-minded and accepting as a person. But always took us to this church. So there was very much like growing up, I had like kind of I always felt like I kind of had 3 worlds that I lived in. I had like the not like the sort of secular but still conservative world over here. I had like the liberal but still religious world over here, and then I had like the super fundamentalist inerrancy of the Bible, like charismatic Christian world, and like the center. And it was definitely, it maybe like was confusing for a while, but I also think maybe in part that kind of had to do with what made it possible for me to kind of let go, because like I had a concept pretty early on that like not everyone believed the same thing, and that there were like other options for people to kind of filter into. So yeah.
What being somewhat of a fundamentalist when you were younger and realizing that there were other belief systems out there, how did that like balance out in your brain, we'll say? Did you ever think, am I in the right one? Like, did you ever think anything like that?
To be honest, I think at least early on, I didn't really have doubts of like whether I was pretty sure that like my parents put me in the school, like, you know, they must have had a good reason to or something kind of. Like our school is interesting because even though we had like Catholic students and like some like Mormon kids who went to the school, at the school, we very much preached that like all the other denominations are wrong. Like this way of interpreting the Bible is the only acceptable way of interpreting the Bible. So, yeah, I mean,
of
like,
course.
I think, right. I got pretty strong messages that like, even if, like other things were like an option, like they were wrong. So, yeah. My brain is stuttering.
Not
I don't know. The what?
Your brain is not functioning properly?
No, my brain is not. I drank a whole Red Bull before too. Usually that gets me thinking pretty fast, but I'm stuttering right now.
That's okay. Just take your time.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Where do you want to go from there? I kind of feel like there's definitely more, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're still in the part of where you're still quite young. You said that your parents had separated, right, and all that. So, when when did the stepmom come in? Like, how did that happen?
Sure. Yeah. So, my parents both actually got remarried a month apart. Interestingly enough, when I was about 10 years old, literally a month apart. The 14th or 2 months apart. Sorry, but the 14th of April and June.
Wow.
When I was about 10 years old, that would put me in like 5th grade, I think, 4th or 5th grade. So still pretty nice. Thanks, Rags. I was still very much in the church then. It was interesting because like my stepdad was Catholic. He actually grew up wanting to be like a minister, so
Wow.
he didn't end up doing that, but or whatever Catholic people do. But
Jesus, apparently.
Yeah, sure. He went to church with us though at our like Church of God church for a while. I know my stepmom was religious and she liked to go to church with her mom from time to time, but she also didn't take it that seriously. So there was definitely like a lot of conflicting messages to be layered on top of like if you don't follow these teachings to a T and act this very specific kind of way, that you're gonna go to hell for all eternity. They definitely like very much drove that home. I remember as a kid being like, not even as much afraid of like Satan shit, but like they made God sound so scary that I remember when I prayed as a kid, I used to specifically ask in every prayer, if he's going to give me a sign that whatever he does, please don't send an angel, because that scared me. Remember?
I would freak the fuck out too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Whoa, where does dude with wings come from? For fuck's sake, get out of my room.
I think that was my mindset as a kid. Especially, I remember like when we were doing Bible classes, like we, aside from like, I think like Numbers and Chronicles and all those more like just here's a list of people and events kind of chapters in the Old Testament, we pretty much read everything in the Bible. Whatever, there's some section in the Old Testament, I think, where like an angel like swings a sword over some land or something, and or God sends an angel to smite people or whatever. And whenever we read that, must have been like second or third grade, and I just remember instantly like the fear of angels was instilled in me very deeply from that exact moment.
Honestly,
yeah.
Arden, I think this is the first time I've ever heard someone mention that they were scared of angels.
I mean, it's pretty scary the way they like depict it. I don't know. It's so like, every time God got pissed, it was like he murdered the whole fucking planet. So it was like very, I don't know, like it's hard to explain when you're like as a kid, like I don't think you do that much reasoning with a kid. It's like I feel like I'm rewriting my reasoning sometimes when I think back on it. Right. But I definitely knew that like my emotions were like, I'm obeying this person because I'm told he's the right guy, but man, he's fucking scary. Like, holy shit. Yeah, so that was definitely like super prevalent. I remember being very much afraid of angels and devils and demons and all of the scary imagery, the big stuff. I don't know how to phrase it.
That's okay. I just realized I forgot to change my name from the last time. I'll put it back to Wookiee because it's Star Wars Day.
There you go. That's good.
There we go.
Yeah, but
so I look like a Wookiee.
Yeah, I mean, you got some Wookiee vibes for sure. I think kind of what started to make me doubt a lot of this stuff was as I started to get older. My dad gave me a lot of just because he wasn't very religious. Like I remember coming home one day and like telling him that we learned that Noah lived to be 900 years old. And he was like really pissed about that. He was like, what the fuck? They told you? Sorry, can I say fuck? Is that all right? Well, I just said it twice. Yeah. So. Okay, cool. Okay. He came home and he was like, what the fuck? Like they told you somebody lived to be 900 years old. And I was like, yeah, the Bible says so. God says so. So it's true.
Yeah, right. Apparently in reality, they'd be lucky to make it a 40 back then.
Right. Yeah, and so I guess like my dad like stormed into the school and like yelled at someone or something, and he also kind of like, I mean, my dad he's like it's complicated. His like disdain for authority was very useful for me in a lot of ways, but it also fucked me over in a lot of ways. So, he's he's like an anti-hero in my story. I wouldn't call him a good guy, but he's maybe not a bad guy.
Right.
Yeah,
like
he yes, yeah, like he did good shit, but like I don't know if he really qualifies as his dad all the time.
Gotcha.
But like he did teach me like that, like I don't know, that like there was a world outside and there were things that I could aspire to that weren't what I was handed, because I knew by the time I was like 12, like so somewhere around like 6th grade. Sure, the Punisher, that works. Somewhere around like 6th grade, my stepmom had a nephew who I met for the first time, and we were like the same age. If I haven't made it clear, I'm sure everyone in the audience knows, but I'm trans, so I was a boy at the time. It was another young boy, and he went to public school, and he started telling me all these cool things that they do at public school. Like they got to go to these school dances where you got to like flirt with people and you get like snacks and shit. Whereas like we weren't allowed to like, or sorry. Yeah. Question.
Oh, were you allowed to get the snacks before or after you flirted? Like, was flirting a requirement for the snacks? Like if you don't flirt, no snacks.
Yes, definitely. They were very strict about the flirting. It was a very, very weird public school. Yeah, but I mean, like at the private school, like we weren't allowed to like watch certain movies and shit. If they found out, like they would like have us talking to with our parents and stuff. Like I remember when the Golden Compass got released, and like they said an atheist wrote it. I don't know if that's even true, but they told us all about that, and they were like, you can't see the movie, you can't read the book, you can't interact with this media at all. They weren't really fans of like Pokemon or anything like that, even though I did that shit anyway.
Me too.
But yeah, learning that, I was like, oh shit, there are kids that are like going to school and like they're able to like date and play video games and eat junk food, and nobody like makes them feel like shit about it. So by like 6th grade, I kind of decided that I thought I wanted to go to public school, but I gave it one more year at private school. And it was kind of gnarly because I kind of like stopped giving a shit at that point. Like I kind of was like, I had like found like a girlfriend at like one of these dances, and I was like, I feel so cool. Like I'm not supposed to do this thing, but I'm doing it anyway, and I'm like not in trouble for it or whatever. I don't know. And I remember like they came down really hard on us for that, and like I had started to learn too that like my cousin like was like talking shit about our gay mutual cousin at school, like in front of me and to the teachers and stuff, to kind of like prove like how good of a godly girl she is. And like all this just kind of, I think it started to click on me that like when I prayed, I didn't really feel like I heard anything. These people were trying to put all these rules on me, and I don't think I did like a complex deconstruction in my head or anything, but I just kind of knew, I was like, this place is stingy and boring, and public school seems really cool. I want to go over there.
Yeah. You always want to go where the cool kids are, right? So
yeah. So I went over there, and it was an interesting change. I think I'd also been, like I mentioned, I was trans. I think I'd been repressing some feelings for a long time, that when I suddenly got to public school, I was kind of able to like express myself a little bit more. I mean, like I was getting bullied like insanely, but I was at least able to like have those feelings come out, and there wasn't like when I was in private school, I got in trouble for like having my nails painted at this one event. Like I got told I had to cut my hair like a bunch when I like was trying to grow it out because I wanted it longer. So like I was getting in trouble for every time I tried to like express myself in any kind of way. I saw like a bit of freedom, and so I think I started to like question things a little bit more. And by the time I was like, after my first year at public school, I had already figured out that I was trans. I had
Right.
I had like seen like movies and seen like the occasional like Jerry Springer talk show, and even though like I didn't want to end up like those people, like I didn't
Nobody
want to
wants
like
to be on Springer.
right. I wasn't trying to get my ass kicked on Springer. I wasn't trying to be like a well, I mean, ironically, because I do sex work now, but I wasn't trying to be like the, drug-addled like sex worker stereotype that you saw on the
Yeah,
media.
yeah.
Like, but like I knew that I felt like I was a girl. And all of a sudden, all of the like I didn't get to interact with my friends a lot when I left private school, but like we were still friends. Like I would still go to like their soccer games and stuff and see all my friends. The
Sure.
second I came out, my mom was very supportive of me. She was like, I don't understand this, but like we're gonna get you to like a therapist. We're gonna figure this out together, and like it's gonna be fine. My mom,
When she
amazing.
said when she said she's going to get you to a therapist, was that to help with the dysphoria or because she thought there was something wrong with you?
I think my mom didn't know what to do, but she was able. I think she did some like Googling. Like I don't know. Google wasn't as like stellar then as
Right.
it is now, but it was good enough that I think she was able to find out like getting her kid to a therapist was the best option.
Okay.
And the second I did that and word got around to the old community that I was potentially going to be transitioning, our old church told my parents that they weren't allowed anymore because
Because of you.
because of me, because
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
Yep. They kicked my parents out of church because they were like going to like they were abusing me or whatever bullshit excuse they were coming up with.
Religion poisons fucking everything, just like fucking Hitchens used to say.
Yeah, my whole community, all my friends abandoned me. The few that didn't like immediately leave would spend like days messaging me on like whatever social media we had back then, which was like
MySpace.
yeah, I don't know. It was some shitty like old ones telling me that they were like praying for me all the time and that like God doesn't make mistakes and that I'm like disgracing his design and all this stuff.
He doesn't make mistakes, right? He made you as you are.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't as savvy arguing back then, but like, yeah, I mean, like even like my cousin who I mentioned, even though she was like super homophobic at school, like we were really close growing up. We like spent so much time together. We were like best friends. We played dress up all the time, which should have been like a red flag, but we didn't really think about it back then. We liked a lot of like the same shows and stuff. And she like dropped me like a I don't know what a good
like you're on fire. Like
yeah. Yep. I was like revolting to like everyone and the whole community I had known.
Oh fuck, Arden. I'm so sorry I had to go through that kind of shit, man. Because that just I'll never know what that's like. Well, maybe not in that respect, but that's just it blows me away when I hear shit like that every time. Like, really? So you really actually cared for the person to begin with? I don't fucking think so.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's interesting because as a kid, I don't know that I like really processed too much at the time. Like, oh, they're abandoning me because of like who I am or whatever. But I definitely knew that I felt like growing up in like a fundamentalist religion, obviously, like most of us develop this like sort of complex of people pleasing, of like needing to aspire to everyone's values around us.
Right.
Oh, that's really sweet. But like that thing, whatever that like complex is that most of us deal with, was amplified by like 10 million when everyone left me, because like I was like, I don't think, like, I remember being taught that people who are like me were wrong, but like I don't think I'm doing anything wrong.
Right.
But for some reason, everyone's treating me like I am a total freak show. So I felt the need to like prove that I wasn't like that. and that became a complex that I honestly dealt with until probably like a couple years ago. Like that was so deeply rooted in my brain. Like the only way you survive and keep people around you is by like selling them the best possible version of who you could be. And yeah, as far as like the religion part goes, I kind of had started to lose belief anyway, because like I think I mentioned earlier, like I kind of had recognized by this point, I think that when I prayed, I didn't really feel like anyone heard me. Like
Right.
felt very much like I was talking to myself, and because I was, but yeah, I think it was pretty easy for me to like drop the like Christianity thing, but yeah, a lot of those values were still like really deeply rooted in my brain about like what it meant to be a man, what it meant to be a woman, like, you know, how to be a good person. Yeah, these kind of concepts were like really deep in my psyche. So I also kind of like went through a stage after dropping that stuff where like I was really looking for something to replace stuff with. So I got really, really into, as a little baby teenager, into like woo-woo, like spirit science. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know. I know. I beat myself up every time I look at myself in the mirror. I go, "This is for fucking subbing to that channel, asshole."
Yeah. I convinced myself that I like was having like past life experiences and like out of body meditation and like and to be honest, like I do a lot of meditating now, but like meditation that's like empirically based like practice for like your mental health.
Yes. Real meditation.
Right. But like there was like something to say about like getting comfortable with like the kind of the concept of it that was probably useful there, but like I could have gotten comfortable with the concept without having to think that I was like leaving my body and like experiencing my past lives and all that kind of weird shit.
I actually wrote a song based on what I thought was an out-of-body experience. That's a song we have called Immortal Realm. But realizing afterwards, it was all in your head, right? Just your body's way of making you at ease, I guess, about whatever situation you're in. I actually hit my head on the top of a dock at Camp Atikva in Kelowna and was unconscious underwater and got dragged out and thought I was looking down at myself. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But it wasn't like that. So
no, that's
you just realize that afterwards, right?
Yeah. I mean, like one of the more complex ones that I still remember it very vividly. Like, the best way I could describe it is it was kind of like what do you call it? A lucid dream almost. Like and it's kind of ironic because this was sort of as I knew I was trans. I was about to transition, but I hadn't really started to transition yet. I had a memory of a past life where I was a like woman in Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and like it was basically the plot of what is that? It's a musical. It's like Miss Saigon or something.
Oh, Miss Saigon. Yeah. Which is it's a great show, actually.
It was basically the plot of that show, like essentially. And like, I don't think I had seen the show at the time. I don't think, but like, it was so close to the point that I kind of feel like maybe I just like, my brain like
picked it up somewhere.
Yeah. It was it was a really interesting. I had really believed for like a solid like year or two that was like a real memory that I had somehow gained access to. I don't know. I think I just as like a young person, it made me feel kind of like special. Like I had this unique ability, and like it kind of replaced my need for like religion and and you know, being at like public school, like although I was bullied really, really badly at public school, I had like a community. The like theater community was kind of like my little safe haven public school that I got to stay in. So I was like, I had the community, I had the like magical spiritual beliefs. So it was like, I was able to kind of transition away from God in like a gradual way that wasn't like too painful.
I actually still wear one of the rings I bought when I was Wiccan to sort of commemorate those times, right? You see the little star there?
Yeah.
So, but it's a cool ring anyway. So
I still really like the sort of like witchy aesthetic. Like I think I kind of it's something I like enjoy, but
don't make me take out my tarot cards.
I don't have any tarot cards, but it was I was really deep into that for like most of my teen years.
Yeah, I was in my 30s, into the 20s and 30s when I got into it. Yeah,
I mean, like I think the same concepts kind of apply no matter what age you are. I guess like having like feeling like you're like special, like you have these abilities that other people don't, kind of makes anyone feel of any age feel like they're like unique in a way. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. This is my get off my lawn stick, by the way.
Very nice. Nice. Did you have that in your past memory too?
No. No. I actually got this because my back goes out every once in a while and I can't even fucking walk sometimes. It gets so bad, right?
Oh, God.
Because I was rear-ended by a 92-year-old woman in a minivan and I was driving like a little Chevette kind of thing, right? And she just smashed me right into the intersection.
Oh, my God. Jeez.
I was like, oh, yeah. And ever since then, my back's just been fucking hooped. But that's okay.
That's horrible. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I deal with it. But there are times when I need this, right? So because it hurts, so I can't even get out of bed. I can't even turn over in bed, for crying out loud, when it gets that bad.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, it's brutal.
Goddamn old ladies.
yeah, but now I'm an old man, so you know, I'm all like, I hate this fucking goddamn back, son of a bitch. Yeah. Get off my lawn, you little no.
Yeah.
Careful. Nick's in the chat now. Oh boy.
Is something wrong with Nick? I guess I have my eyes on Nick in the chat.
No, Nick's good people. He's just we've become quite good friends over the past couple of years. So
cool. Okay.
See. Where? Oh, whoops.
Ooh. Did I, Mikey? Sure. But anyway,
Aiden hired that old lady. I don't think so, Mikey. Pretty sure she was not old enough to pick up a phone probably when I got hit, because it was in it was in 97, I think.
I was 2. Maybe 2, depending on the time of the year. I could have been 1.
Wow, you're brutal at 2 then, if you hired her to get me in the car.
I've always been
I know I'm going to know this in the future. Quit causing trouble, Mikey. Jeez. Look at him in the back room going.
But so I think I don't really know exactly, I guess, the details of how I moved away from the spiritual mumbo jumbo. I think
it was a slow burn for me. Like it slowly just kind of drifted away. Because I tried doing spells, and when I realized that they weren't doing shit, it was like, okay, this stuff is fucking stupid. And then I just kind of, you start looking it up. You look up behind the science of crystals actually heal anything, like cancer. Which fucking cancer, idiot? There's like 240 of them. Like that kind of thing, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, it was kind of like similar to that. And I don't know if you've heard. I feel like I've told this part of my story a million times. Oh shit.
Okay. A little bit of a hurricane. No.
When I was in high school, as a result of my bullying and the kind of like, I think it was a amalgamation of my bullying, kind of the indoctrination, and what transition did to my relationship with my dad all kind of came together to, after a few years, I detransitioned. Tried really hard to be a guy. This was like my senior year of high school. I started trying to do this again. And when I left for college, I specifically went somewhere where like I wasn't going to know anyone, and it was going to be like a new place where I could like try my hardest to be like a normal person, because I felt like I had kind of screwed the pooch on that one. I was like, there's no way I could ever have like a normal life living in my hometown.
Fun fact, none of us are normal. We're all unique.
Fair. True. Yeah, it was but I think even though I hadn't like really like logicked through it, I think by this point, by the time I had left for college, I had at least kind of reasoned through that like I blamed my church and like religion and all of that for why I was so fucked up. That's how I thought of it at the time. I don't really think of it that way anymore, but why I was like thought I was so fucked up. So I was like really, really bitter against religion. I hadn't really like thought of myself as an atheist, but I was like, every time I drove past a church, I was like flipping it off. And like, whenever like the holidays came around, I was like viscerally angry, super, super resentful, of like, I don't know, kind of feeling like I was robbed of my chance to like just be a person.
Exactly.
And like sparing like all of the like painstaking details, I through a lot of therapy and a lot of mental health stuff, I eventually figured out that my issue was that I hated the fact that I was trans. I was trans, and no matter how hard I wanted to escape it, it was just true. And I absolutely hated that about myself. So my goal in life
No, I was just going to say that is a prime example. You often hear a lot of theists of whatever stripe saying, "Oh, well, you just think you're this, and you just choose to be this." Mm. That is a perfect example of it's not a fucking choice. This is who you are, and sometimes, and that's where I guess all the dysphoria stuff comes in, because now you're kind of like you almost hate yourself a little bit because it doesn't feel like you should be, but you are. But you know, like, but and eventually, obviously, you came to terms with it, and you're the beautiful you that you are now. So,
yeah, it took a lot of time. Somewhere like right before I started transitioning, after it had occurred to me, before I started transitioning the second time, it had occurred to me that like, I think basically at this point I was an atheist. Like I knew I had been like distant from religion for long enough that it was like I don't think I could be convinced of a God. Like it just felt like bullshit to me. I was like, I don't think any intellectual exercise would like suddenly make me believe that there is like a magic entity that exists out there that's not like tangible. And I'd also just gotten a psychology degree. So like the whole notion of like spiritual, like of a spirit or dualism or like whatever was completely gone for me. I was like, the entirety of who we are and like our emotions and all that is clearly in our brain.
Yeah.
So
did you believe in an afterlife before that? Or like a version of it, I guess?
You know, I don't know if I ever really bought into that either. I remember my grandfather died when I was 11, I think. And I remember going to his funeral and like, I was sad. Yes.
Of course.
But like everyone else seemed to be having a really different experience that was really weird to me, of this, like, they were like mourning, but there were also like almost like happy tears in there where they were like, oh, he's like with God and he's like living a better life. Like they would like, I grew up in a rural town. So it was like, he was hunting up in the woods of heavens kind of thing. And like, yeah, that's religious rednecks for you.
Wow.
Yeah. And to me, I remember always
I
kind of
think
feeling
in
like,
heaven. I'm sorry, but that's a new one on me.
oh yeah, that they say that every time a man dies. It's really
So,
fascinating.
so when you get up there, you're gonna shoot all the angels.
Now that sounds really fucking cool. That kind of sounds like a comic I want to write someday.
Yeah, there you go.
um, yeah, but I don't know. I never really found like myself too convinced of like an afterlife or anything like that. But yeah, so like kind of feeling like religion was bullshit. I felt like I had been very aware that it Arden the Angel Slayer, rad. Kind of feeling like religion was just kind of causing harm. That's kind of the conclusion I had come to before I think this is still before I would consider myself an atheist. I was like, well, like religion just fucks up people. Like it took me a while to realize that there are some Christians out there who are actually good people.
Oh, sure.
Who weren't harmed by their religion and who do good for the world. Like it took me a long time to be able to like stomach that and to acknowledge that, because I was like, no, religion just fucks up everyone and it's just a terrible thing. And
well, there's an old saying that I'm actually kind of fond of. It says, you good people are going to be good and bad people are going to be bad. But it takes something like religion or something of that ilk to make otherwise good people bad.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I like my cousin who I was mentioning earlier, and like her dad, my uncle, is a piece of shit. He's not a good person. He would have been bad with or without religion. My aunt and my cousin, I think they would have been phenomenal people if religion hadn't like poisoned their minds. Which is like unfortunate because like I said, like we were so close in my youth that would have been cool to like grow up and like.
You don't talk to them now, or?
No, not at all.
It makes me sad that people have to be this way.
They're still very like anti what I am, which is just fascinating to me. And now as like a person who's like secure,
you're still the same person though. Like,
yeah, I mean, like in some sense, like a lot of me has changed. Like I can acknowledge that, but like I don't know. I nowadays I feel very secure in myself, and I feel very like self-aware, and like I'm not as angry or resentful. I've let go of a lot of that stuff. So the fact that they still have such a thing against just fundamentally this part about me that I can't change is just like really fascinating. I'm like, man, it's not like the Bible even says like anything about trans people specifically. Like there's like the men can't dress as women, but like it doesn't say like, but like people like this have existed in so many cultures for all of history. Like, I don't, it's just really weird. But like, it's really not their fault. They were just as indoctrinated as I was. And like the same reason that I hated myself was the same reason that they like hated me, so to speak. I don't know if they hate me, but like hated what I am, I guess.
Yeah, it's probably not a hate you in particular, but hate what you became or whatever, right?
Yeah. And then somewhere right around the time that I started transitioning, honestly, I think well, kind of what spurred me to transition was, like I had said, I realized that I hated who I was and I couldn't escape who I was. So I was like kind of like on a goal to like learn how to not. And that kind of triggered like skepticism in general in me. Like I had always kind of like been able to, like I had a good bullshit detector, I think. But I
wish I could say that.
It triggered, well, I mean, to be fair, I still got into the spiritual woo, so it didn't do me a whole lot of good. But like it kind of triggered like a sort of skepticism in me that I was like, I want to know like why I'm trans and like how I'm trans and how I can be sure that transitioning is going to be a good decision for me. And I kind of like did all those ropes. And then kind of once I had solved that puzzle, I was kind of like looking at like religion after that. And I did that pretty quickly. Religion just kind of was like, I had always been angry. And I was kind of like, well, I want to now not be angry at religion. Like I want to understand this more fundamentally. So I kind of put an effort to that. And that's about the time that I started to find my way into like the atheist online spaces, like a couple years ago.
Who'd you stumble on first?
Um,
I'm always interested in knowing these kinds of things. Like,
I think it was Jimmy Snow.
oh yeah, okay.
I think it was Jimmy, and I think through Jimmy, I saw Eric from Talk Heathen, and I think that kind of led me to the ACA, and then all of the ACA shows, and just kind of, it was rabbit hole after that.
Oh yeah, yep. Been there. Mine was, I think Sam Harris was the first one that popped up that I watched, and then all of a sudden more Sam Harris, and then Christopher Hitchens, and then Daniel Dennett, and then all this stuff, and like literally the Four Horsemen shit, and then the Atheist Experience, and then Seth Andrews, and Arn Ra, and then Vice Rhino, and fucking Dark Matter, and all of them just started showing up out of the blue.
Yeah, they all like, it's like you open a door that someone's like overstuffed, and they all just kind of come tumbling out.
It's logic. They'll come tumbling out of the closet, the atheist closet.
Yeah, I do remember seeing Arden actually at some point when I was in my spirit science phase. I wonder if he like made a response to it all the way back then or something. But I remember hearing some guy who was really angry sounding talking about evolution, and being kind of like,
oh, was it a Christian that was doing it?
No. I think I almost want to say Arden was like debating someone, but I can't say for sure, because this is like, I'm reaching like over a decade into my memory.
Okay.
Forever ago. I definitely I'm fairly certain it was Arden, and he was talking about evolution, but
Ken Ham probably.
It could have been, yeah. I think it just kind of got somehow recommended to me on YouTube because I had been watching Spirit Science, so like like we were talking, somehow those two things got like linked, I believe. Really hard to say actually, but so maybe technically Arden was the first, but I definitely did not follow that rabbit hole. It wasn't until I found Jimmy's stuff. I mean, that I really got plugged into the atheist community because like I had kind of like, since I had already kind of like worked it out before I found Jimmy. I was really excited to find the community because like I hadn't had a community since I was, like 13
in the system.
Yeah, like I was like a little kid, like 13 or 14. And when the what would you call it? The kerfuffle happened. I was really like, I was still a little bit in like the pick me, I'm one of the good ones phase for my transness. Like I'd worked through that. I was definitely trans, but I kind of still wanted to be one of the good ones and like throw the bad transes under the bus. So I was like really interested in part of that conversation. I was like starting to feel like I was kind of like on my feet enough and self-aware enough that I could like kind of debate things. Luckily, I worked through that, and I'm no longer in that phase. But it was. I feel like it was all part of the process. Like I kind of like needed, in a sense, to go through like all those stages to kind of like get to where I was able to like, not be angry and not hate other people and not like take it out on other people.
Sure.
But
it's what basically molded you into who you are, right?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely, and like the thing I liked about like the skeptic community too is that I feel like it was one of the spaces online that, I mean, some might disagree with this, but that I felt like I could make a mistake and it was okay. I could be wrong and misinformed, and people weren't going to hate me for it. Like that was like a thing people admired in this community, is when people are able to like self-reflect and say, oh, actually, I think I was wrong on this position. Now I hold this position. And that made me feel a lot more comfortable in my skin because I didn't feel like I had to do that proving myself thing all the time. I didn't have to always like come to the battle equipped with why I'm valid, why it's okay that I'm trans, why I'm actually a woman, why atheism is good. I could be like, here are my positions and here's why. Maybe I'm wrong. Like that's a possibility. and that definitely like I think freed up a lot of my like emotional bandwidth to like not be so hateful towards other people and myself. It was mostly inward directed, but like I think innately when you kind of are a self-hating person, you take that out on other people quite a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's most of the basis of my like of the religious part of the deconversion.
For sure. And when you brought in the whole trans issues too, that kind of went part and parcel, almost like woven in with it, really, if you think about it.
Very much so.
Mikey, why don't you come on in here? And we still got a few minutes left, and I'm pretty sure you know Arden anyways. So
I don't
see, Mikey shows up and Arden
I don't want to talk to Arden. Arden is a bully. Arden is mean to me. Arden is always doing stuff that's cooler than what I'm doing. And I'm not feeling inadequate. Arden's an overachiever and making it harder for the rest of us out here. So whatever. Go on Twitch, peoples, with all your stuffs. Oh, and Twitch is going over really well. Tons of Mice is clipping everything you say so that we can replay it out of context.
Oh,
this
good Lord.
Is a blast.
Nice. Love that.
This is great.
That's my favorite part about Twitch.
What have I done, people? What have I done?
Oh, I tricked you into the biggest mistake of your entire. Oh, there's so choice. So, Tons of Mice will probably post the links to all of those things on the YouTube chat. So you can literally just click that link and it just pulls up like a boop boop, and it's just your conversation, and there's no before, no after, and it's like 10 seconds. And it's gold. It's all gold.
Wonderful.
He's got a particular skill for it.
I can't wait to hear how I've made an ass of myself. I tend to do that. So
he said, I think he entitled like Atheists in the Closet, and then like Neil's like, yeah, and then they're just falling out of the closet. And I'm like, that's perfect. That's so
that is
good.
Pretty good.
Oh boy.
So,
what have I done?
So Arden, for like, well, you were a Church of God. Is that different from Church of God in Christ?
So I thought I understood how my church is classified, and I learned. So like based on how we practiced, I was under the impression that we were Pentecostal because we did the speaking in tongues. We were very much about singing and worship. It was very charismatic. We were super fundamentalist, biblical inerrancy, the whole 9 yards. But we were called the Church of God. And then I heard someone say that people who are Church of God can sometimes be more like Baptists almost, where they're not into like musical worship. So I was like, I don't know where to plug in. I don't know where we fit in. I don't know. We were the Church of God, but we practiced like Pentecostals. That's all I know what to say. And
like I remember me and my siblings growing up like somewhat in like a Baptist or like a I would just say like a Baptist church. Then there was like the Church of God people that were like the white people, but then there was like the Church of God in Christ, which was like the black Church of God people. Holy crazy. I'm talking about the girls had to wear skirts down to their ankles that were like jean every day. And the boys always wore like suits to school. It was like the weirdest thing. Like they were so fundamentalist. It was, I mean, there wasn't a lot of internet to go around back then, but I'm pretty sure like they would have been like no cell phones, no nothing. They were very, very repressive.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. I really don't understand what the correct classification is. I don't think honestly they even really fucking know, but the pastor was like very, very like it was very much I think charismatic is probably a better definition for it. Like he was like, yes, he was jumping on the pews. Like he would literally keep the front row clear because when he got hyped, he would jump on them and like start doing that thing where like they talk in a very specific tone, and he would like do that thing, and he is like crouching down on it and like pointing at people, and like people would have their hands up and they were sobbing and like talking in tongues, and it was wild.
Did people fall out?
Yes, we did
goodness.
It wasn't every week, but like once in a while, like when people wanted to like apologize or whatever, you would go up and he would like rub ointment on your forehead and like talk in tongues for a little bit.
He would anoint you with the holy oil.
Yeah. I remember
Look that up on Pornhub and see what comes up.
He hit her with the extra virgin olive oil, like shaka paka.
Honestly, it probably was. When I was little, though, what's funny, I remember when I didn't realize what speaking in tongues was until after I had been out of the church for like several years. When I was little, I thought he was speaking Hebrew because I was like, this sounds like an old language. I don't know what it is. The Bible was written in like Hebrew or something. So I was like, maybe he's just speaking Hebrew.
I speak Hebrew, and I'd be able to tell you if he was.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't learn until I was having a conversation. I got a job after I graduated high school, doing maintenance in the high school. And one of my coworkers went to one of the only other churches in the whole county. And he was like, yeah, the Church of God is okay. I just really don't get the whole talking in tongues thing. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, where they start talking in a language that doesn't exist. And I was like, wait, all of a sudden it was like, I had been staring at one of those mind bender puzzles.
The 3D joints.
Yeah, all of a sudden
Magic eye.
View, I was like, oh no, that's what had been happening the whole time.
They're making fun of us. They're mocking us.
It was, kind of embarrassing to realize after the fact, but I just remember being kind of intimidated. I was like, this guy is babbling in a language I don't understand. I feel like he's casting a spell on me. What is happening?
No, since it sounds like we kind of went to similar, but yours was a little bit more extreme than mine. Similar churches growing up. Did you ever go to a mass, like a Catholic mass?
Many years later, when my grandmother died, my stepdad's mom, we they did a mini one for her ceremony. So
going to churches like that and then going to a mass, then you're like, holy shit, this is a cult. Because everyone's talking in the same monotone voice. And if you don't know that's what's going to happen, you're just like, oh, whoa, buddy, what is this? Whoa.
Totally.
No, sir. And then the daggers come out. Nope. Saw this movie.
Yeah, no, that totally freaked me out the first time because that was it was very much nobody prepared me. I didn't realize that Catholics did that. And to be honest, it's not that different from the weirdness of it's just that it was all synchronous that made it weird. Everyone started doing it at the same time. That's how I was like, is
Lord,
there a
pamphlet
I'm missing?
I'm like, all right, well, I done looked on this shit 3 or 4 different times. What page are y'all on? Y'all are all reading the same book and know exactly where you are. How?
I thought I missed a pamphlet. I was like, this is my grandmother's funeral, and I didn't get the pamphlet. I don't know what we're supposed to be saying, but then
it's like looking for the remote, trying to look for the instructions for the mass if you've never been there before.
Yeah.
You're like, no, you kneel this time, you stand up next time. All right, you can't get some picture signals or something? Can you give me a lead in? Something about that. But I've heard Arden's story because me and Arden go way back, six flats on a Cadillac, 3 flats on a Cadillac, something. We're old buds.
As of our, sure, I mean, yes, we are very old buds.
Look at Russ. Russ just discovered Letterkenny, so he's pulling out lines from the show now. Give your balls a tug. Since you didn't say hi there. Yeah, hi Russ.
Do you feel better now, Russ, that everyone has had to stop everything and acknowledge you? Do you feel better? Is that better for you?
Yes. You know he's going to scream yes.
He just puts in all lowercase. C. I do feel better. I think the lines are the queue has already started for the after show because it has been you're a very popular young lady, Miss Arden.
Aw, I'm so glad.
Am
I glad? Well, I don't know if I'm glad I'm being popular, but I'm glad people want to join. That's fun.
Well, Jonathan, as soon as he found out you were on, hit me up right away. He says, I got to be in the after party. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah,
my Jonathan?
Yes. Your Jonathan.
Sorry, Rags. He's mine now.
He no, he's the one who kind of organized.
There you go, Jonathan.
We were on Twitch one night, and somebody was like, "Wait, you haven't been on Neil's show yet?" And I was like, "No, I haven't been on Neil's show." I was like, "If someone wants to tweet at him, they can." And then, literally, like 2 minutes later, Jonathan was like, "It has been done." I was like, "Oh shit, that was so fast."
I literally had it typed up, and I'm like, "Hey, Neil, I'm gonna hit up Arden's on the 4th. Delete. Never mind. I don't have to send that message. It's not necessary. It has been done.
So you'll have to grief Neil for that, because he could have me on here ages ago, but he was just avoiding me. So I think he's clearly a massive transphobe, just trying to avoid.
You found me out.
This is what a surreptitious way of us finding out these things,
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I didn't tell anybody.
There's no possible way that you can know that I'm a transphobe. That's definitely getting clipped.
Oh
yeah, we're screwed.
God damn it. You know what? You know what's going to happen now? Fucking, Essence of Thought is going to find that. He's going to make clips. Oh, yeah.
Well, they could already do it, but I mean, Twitch just makes it easier. They streamline the process for you, so you don't even have to leave the app. You don't have to leave the website. You can stay right there and do it.
Go Twitch.
Twitch for the win.
I love you, Russ. Yeah, this should have happened earlier, Arden. You are absolutely correct.
No, God, it's fine. It's really fine. I just wanted to give you a hard time.
I mean, I had your partner in crime for the Transatlantic on almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Right. And Kate, that was a lot of fun. Katie was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If she ever moves over here, she's going to be playing in my band. There's no fucking doubt about that.
I've been trying to convince her, but I mean, I don't know.
Because she's a fucking badass guitar player.
Yeah, no, she's really good. It's the song she wrote for Transatlantic was so sick. When I first heard it, very nice, Mikey. I remember I was playing it all around my house, dancing to it. It was so cool.
Yes, that's right, Mikey. You don't have your green screen up. Everyone in the chat was actually freaking out because you didn't have it up.
Oh my god! I have a new toy. Oh, buddy, let me find some new pictures for the backgrounds. After show? How about an after show?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get into that. All right, before we do that though, I want to say a couple of things before we hang up the phone here, so to speak. First of all, Arden, thank you so much for joining me today. It was great to finally get to talk to you.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. I mean, I can be pretty boring sometimes, so.
No, God.
Said no one ever.
Yeah, no, I suppose not. But we are going to get into an after party, guys. And if anyone would like to join us, there's a link below to hang out in the chat. And if you want to be a part of it, Mikey's already got a big list going, and I know Jonathan wants to be a part of it. So just let Mikey know and via Twitter or Facebook if you're not on Twitter. And we'll see about rotating people in and out. Probably go for a couple hours, so there'll be lots of time for folks to come and hang out. Yeah, and other than that, thanks to my amazing patrons, just like that little strip down there all in red says, you guys are what helped me keep this show going, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Yes, it's red. What should it not be red? It's always been red.
It must be my color settings. It looks very orange to me, and I'm having a bit of a crisis here. Am I colorblind and I didn't know?
Nope, it's red. It's reddy orangey, so it might look a little orange to you.
It's like a brick color.
Yeah.
House.
Brick.
Matty. Just letting it all hang out. Oh, she's a brick. All right, sorry.
Yeah, so don't forget that Randolph and I are starting our own call-in show called True North Talk. So you'll be able to call in and talk to us about all kinds of things that you believe, and we'll discuss whether or not it's worth believing that kind of thing. And it's coming up pretty soon, so head over to our channel, True North Talk, or you can visit www.truenorthtalk.ca, and it'll link you to our YouTube channel there. And it'll also probably link you over to the Canadian Atheist channel, where Randolph and I do lots of cool stuff. We're going to be putting together some get-togethers in the probably maybe in the late summer, early fall, with once everyone's got more vaccines going and we're a little bit easier to go out and do stuff. So check out the channel and give us a sub, and you won't miss our launch date. But there's a lot of funny little videos of us pretending that we know what we're doing, building the studio. It's kind of funny, and they put it that Benny Hill music and then sped up the footage. It's hilarious. But anyway, the last the nonprofits, which if you've seen any episodes, you might have seen Mikey, might have seen me, and you might have seen Arden, because we have all been hosts of the revamped and relaunched Nonprofits, which is an ACA product that airs between Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience at about, was it 3 p.m.? Oh, Jesus, about 3 p.m. Central Time. And it's Sunday, just like the other two shows. So I don't know why I said that. Anyways, guys, so head over to that channel and give them a sub. And you can see our shining faces every once in a while. And the last Saturday of every month, myself and my friends Andy and Seamus get together and do a little funny podcast for a couple hours called Atheists Drinking Out Loud. And it starts at 2 p.m. And we pick some funny topics and stupid people, and we make fun of them and drink. Basically like I do on the show here all the time, but it's with other people. And you never know. You never know when we might come knocking on your door to come and join us for a couple hours.
They've been waiting for you.
That did not happen the May 1st because Andy had something come up that he had to go deal with. So we're doing it on the 8th, excuse me, which is this coming Saturday. And it's X from the Utah Outcast is going to be our guest for that show. So definitely check it out. Yeah, he made sure with his better half that it was okay. So
I know that guy.
Yeah. That X guy.
That X dude.
He's no longer mysterious. We know him pretty good. The mysterious X from the Utah Outcast. All right. That's about it, guys. So if you want to hang out with us in the after party, there is that link in the description box. So head over there and hit it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you dug what you heard here tonight. If you dig in the music that I come into and out of with this show and the after party, which are two different songs, you can head over to my SoundCloud. Just look for Luminous on SoundCloud, and you'll see all my music there. And until next time, guys, like I always say at the end of these shows, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called fate because it's not knowledge. We'll see you guys next time.